this for each of us to help the family. Each of us to help the family. And I think you can help your families, both your individual families and your church family, in a couple of different ways. One way is just through your attitude, the attitude that you choose. For instance, I got an email from a guy. It was a breakdown of excerpts from a dog's journal and excerpts from a cat's journal. How many of you are dog people? If you're a dog person, let's see your hands. Okay, how many of you are cat people? Okay, you're going to love this. Excerpts from a dog, excerpts from a cat. Here was the dog's sort of journal, daily entry. It said 8:30 a.m. It says, I get to eat food in the morning. Wow, so excited. It says 9 o'clock, I get to go for a walk with my family. Wow, I'm so excited. 10:30, I get to come back home and lay down and rest. Wow, I'm so excited. Noon, I get to wag my tail. Wow, I'm so excited. 2:30, I get to eat a milk bone. Wow, I'm so excited. 7 o'clock, I get to watch TV with people. Wow, I'm so excited. 10 o'clock, I get to go to bed. Wow, I'm so excited. That sounds a lot like our dog, actually. Just everything fires him up, right? So that's a dog's diary entry. Now, here's the entry for the cat's diary. Day 983 of my captivity. My captors continue to taunt me with bizarre little dangling objects. The only thing that keeps me going is my dream of escape. Oh, sorry to all you cat lovers. But anyway, one is the attitude of gratitude, right? And one is an attitude of entitlement. And when it comes to our families, we can either bring an attitude of gratitude or an attitude of entitlement on a daily basis. It's a choice that we make. And the same is true in our spiritual families. What kind of attitude are we going to choose and bring to our spiritual family? What kind of attitude will you and I bring to the church? When you pull up and there's someone else in your parking spot or the parking lot's full, if we're in the peak fall or peak spring and it's crazy and there's a lot going on, you and I face a choice, right? We can have an attitude of gratitude that says, man, I'm so thankful that these people are at church. I'm so thankful that the parking lot's full. I'm so thankful that, people are growing spiritually in their life. You can walk in and you'll see someone, sitting in your area, or even worse, sitting in your seat. They've taken your seat and you can feel entitled, like, you know what, I've been around here a long time. That's my seat. Or you take an attitude of gratitude that says, I'm so glad they're here. I surrender that joyfully, Lord. And you walk away talking to yourself like the guy in the grocery store, right? Be patient, Billy. It's okay, Billy. You'll be all right, Billy. Have a seat. Everything's going to be fine. And let God work and move in that. And you and I face that choice on a regular basis. When you show up to get coffee and there's a long line in the coffee area, you can have an attitude of gratitude that says, I'm so glad people are at church, glad we can get coffee to begin with. Or, you can take an attitude of entitlement that'll take you down a whole different road. And you and I choose on a daily basis. And I want to encourage you to take an attitude of gratitude. And then secondly, to just get involved. I want you to think about this. What's the difference between going to a restaurant and going to family dinner? I think if you really think about it, the primary difference is that when you go to a family dinner, you contribute. You do something. When you go to a restaurant, you just sort of sit down. I mean, you go to a restaurant, if you're like me, you go in, you sit down, you're like, I'm going to order my food. Bring me my food. Bring it over. Listen, you sit down at family dinner and you're like, bring the grub. I don't know about your house, but in our house, I'm like, hey, God gave you 2 legs. Get up. Walk over there and get your own. Walk back over here and sit down. That's how it was at our house. You contributed. You show up early, it's like, great. Get the ice and the drinks. Here, set the table. Do something. Don't just stand there. You know what I say to my kids all the time? I'm always like, God gave you 2 legs for a reason. Go get it yourself. This is the constant thing at our home. That's family dinner. You go sit down at a restaurant, you're like, hey, I'm going to put my order in. Bring the food. Bring the food. They get it all set out. You don't like the food. You're like, oh, the gravy's too salty. The mashed potatoes. What kind of mashed potatoes are these? And look at that meat. That meat's not done right. And then you send it back, right? You say, you know what? You need to recook this. This isn't right. Yeah, you try that at home. You say to mom, like, I want a comment card, then you're going to hear something from dad, that's not square. Because it's two different environments. You know, you go to a restaurant, I mean, at the end, you're leaving and you paid and you're kind of done, and because you're just a consumer. You go to a family dinner, you're involved, you got stuff, I mean, at a restaurant when it's dessert time, you know, you put the dessert order in. You try that at home, you got another thing coming, you'd be like, hey, I want some dessert. Be like, hey, no. Go cook it, you know. Rise up, O great one, and walk to the kitchen on thy legs and get it done on your own, you know. That's the difference between a restaurant and a family dinner. Now, here's